Hey folks, Roby here with the Divi Engine team, and today I'm bringing you probably one of the most exciting tutorials I've done in months. Now the main component of this tutorial is one of the most talked about AI tools since Midjourney and DALL-E 2. Now I'm not going to waste your time, so why don't we just go and get right to it. And for those of you that don't want to just sit there and listen to me blab on about the tool and just get to the actual tutorial part, use the chapters to get to exactly what you're looking for today. So let's go. Welcome to our tutorial on using ChatGPT to write code for your Divi site. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to harness the power of the world's most advanced language model to help streamline your web development workflow. We're going to be splitting it into 5 mini tutorials where we're going to show you various methods of using ChatGPT to enhance your Divi sites. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of all of this, why don't we talk about what ChatGPT is and what it can do? Let's take a look. ChatGPT is a large language model developed by OpenAI. It's been trained on a massive data set of text from the internet, which means it can understand and generate text on just about any topic you can think of. From writing code to composing poetry, ChatGPT can do it all. Divi theme flows, elegant design shines bright, and website beauty blooms. That's a haiku brought to you by ChatGPT. Beautiful ChatGPT, beautiful, thank you. Now, some of you might be wondering, what's the difference between ChatGPT and GPT? Well, ChatGPT is a specific implementation of the GPT language model. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, or something like that. Who knows what that means? But the important thing is that both GPT and ChatGPT are developed by OpenAI, but ChatGPT is fine-tuned for conversational language and is better suited for tasks such as generating responses in a conversation or chatbot application. GPT, on the other hand, is more general purpose and can be fine-tuned for a wide range of language tasks, such as language translation and summarization, and some of you might have even played around with DALL-E 2 to generate some gorgeous images. Now, in this tutorial, we'll be utilizing ChatGPT to write us some code for our Divi website. We're going to be doing this in both CSS and jQuery. But before we get going, why don't we take a look at another few examples of how I can utilize ChatGPT and maybe even further help you out aside from writing code or within the Divi theme. One of the most popular uses for ChatGPT is content creation. You can use it to generate blog posts, articles, and even entire books. All you have to do is give it a topic and a few sentences to get started, and it will take care of the rest. Another great use for ChatGPT is language translation. It can translate text from any language to another with super high accuracy. This can be especially useful for businesses that operate in multiple countries. ChatGPT can be used for summarization. You can give it a long article or document and it will generate a shorter, more concise version. This can save you a lot of time when you're trying to read through a lot of information. Alright, so now that we've gone through a bunch of different other uses for ChatGPT, which you might even be able to use to write copy for your sites or whatever it might be, why don't we move on to the main topic of this tutorial, which is to utilize ChatGPT to write code for your Divi sites. So let's go. Okay, right, so before we can start utilizing ChatGPT to write our code for a Divi website, you need to go to the OpenAI website at chat.openai.com, and right from there you can sign up for a new account. You will need to provide your email address and create a password, but you can also log in with your Google account if you have one. Now, once you have your account, you'll be able to access the OpenAI API and use ChatGPT. And again, just go to chat.openai.com and you'll be all set to get going with the tutorial. Okay, so to start writing your CSS and jQuery code, you need to give ChatGPT some information about the site we're building. This will include the layout, colors, and other design elements that we might want to use. Once ChatGPT has this information, it will generate the CSS or jQuery code for us. We can then just go ahead and copy and paste this code into our Divi site and look like an absolute code ninja. So without further ado, why don't we go and ninja it up and start with our first mini tutorial. All right, so now to get started here, I have a clean Divi install and I have just imported one of these free Divi layouts that you can just import straight from the Divi theme. And now what we're going to want to do though is head over to ChatGPT. You've got your account set up and you can start a bunch of chats. And what's cool about ChatGPT is that you've got this new chat option here where you can have multiple chats, and I'll actually go ahead and save your history. So first up, we're going to be showing you how to create some button module animations for Divi. With ChatGPT, you can easily add any type of effects you want or animations to your buttons to make them kind of stand out and grab the attention of your site visitors. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now I'm going to struggle through this and show you exactly what's involved. So if I need ChatGPT to do extra things for me, I'm gonna make it do it. Utilizing this with Divi, the first thing you're gonna wanna do maybe is come to our page here, and I have the edit window open, and I'm gonna go and target that button on the home page. And I'm gonna go to the advanced tab because I wanna be able to tell ChatGPT, well, I'm gonna have a certain class here that I wanted to utilize for writing the code so it's easier to add it to my page. So I'm just gonna say ChatGPT underscore button. Why not? And I'm going to copy that. I'm going to save that in there. And then I'm going to head over to ChatGPT and I will tell it, please write me some CSS that will generate pulsating button that has a class of, and then the class name that we added. So ChatGPT underscore button. I'll just put the period there to define it as that. That will animate my Divi button, that CSS that will animate a Divi button to make it look like it is slowly pulsating. Let's see what it does. So you can see that it's like immediately writing all the code for you. It interprets my haphazard text there, but I've been playing with this quite a bit and I quite honestly have not had bad feedback. So here you can go ahead and you can copy the code now, and we'll go back to my Divi install here. Now you can go ahead and add code to your theme options, your Divi CSS, custom CSS options. Like over here, you'll go Divi theme options and you can just paste it in here, and it's probably the best place to go ahead and put this. So if I go ahead and save that, let's go to the front end and see what the button does. And it does nothing. And of course, I think rookie mistake, I did not update the page so that that class is registered. How smart of me. Like I said, I'm going to keep my mistakes in here, so let me refresh the page now, and there you go. We have a pulsating button, and that was so easy. And this is a setting not found in Divi. Just like that, 2 minutes, awesomeness. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Wouldn't it be cool if when we hover these menu items here, if they maybe, I don't know, did like a little hovering up and down animation for the hovered item? Yeah, I think that'd be quite cool. So let's come back over here. Now we can start a new chat, which is one of my favorite things. You can go back and reuse this code. And the best part is ChatGPT is free, man. That's insane. So why don't we go ahead and say, write me some CSS that will make the menu item I hover in my Divi theme menu have an animation that makes it look like it is hovering up and down slightly. I don't know, that's a lot of stuff. So I'll be surprised if this works. I tested this with the underline animation. So this is all new, straight with all the faults and anything that might happen. So let's see. And sometimes it times out because everybody's utilizing ChatGPT at the moment and it's just the hottest thing right now. So let's wait and see. And there we go. It's finally writing some code. And now my experience with this has been sometimes you need to instruct ChatGPT a little bit more on exactly what you're trying to do. You want to make sure that you're as descriptive as possible. But the more descriptive you are, the easier it's going to be to make this work. So it's still kind of typing there, but it looks like we're done now. Awesome. So we are just going to test this right out of the box and see what it does. But you know, like I said, sometimes we might need to tweak it a little bit. So we can come back here to our theme options. I'm going to go ahead and paste this code. And it's nice that it even comments the code for you. I think that is one of the most awesome features. So let's save that and go back to the front end. And That's not doing what we wanted to do, right? Okay, so clearly this did not work. And what I'm thinking is we're using the theme builder for this. So why don't we go add a class to the specific menu and then feed that to ChatGPT, similar to what we did with the button here, and see whether that makes a difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and enable the visual builder so I get that full front side editing. So I don't need to go into the theme builder itself. Here we've got our menu module. Wait, and then we'll get the settings for it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a class, and I'm just going to say ChatGPT underscore menu. And we'll just kind of use this naming convention as we go through. Maybe that'll work. Of course, I tried the easy one before I tried the hard one, but you know, this is how we go, because you'll probably run into issues too as you try to do this. So let's get back here to this setting, and then I'm going to say, please adapt the code to make a menu module line item hover line item have the hover animation when the user hovers it with the mouse cursor, and then menu module with the class and the class name we just set, and let's see what that does. Okay, so now it's going through and it's kind of refactoring that code again, and it looks like it's the first line that it's changing. And now what this is going to do, of course, also is it's going to simplify the utilization of this a bit, because now it's not going to look for the header specifically. It's just going to look for a menu module with a ChatGPT menu. So we can go see if this works by going to our theme options, and then we'll just overwrite this code. I'm going to save that. Okay, and then let's go to the front end and let's keep our fingers crossed here. There we go. Bam. Now you can see that it's only doing like a hop, but that's kind of cool, right? Now you can tell it, can you make it so that it looks like it hovers up and down in the air? And I'm really going into this one because I want to show you how to really drill down to what you're looking for. Because of course, this is still just a computer trying to interpret what a human is telling it to do. So this gives you just, you know, a great idea of how one can go ahead and make this happen. But I can kind of see already it's not looping the animation. So let's see. It's giving you also like a description of how you can go ahead and modify the code to suit your own specific needs. And I'm just going to tell it, and it doesn't let you type until it's done, which is fine. That's respectful, I guess. But let's say it, please make it loop. And then it'll go. And now it should probably say infinite. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. And we're going to go ahead and add that back in, copy the code, theme options, and let's replace our code here, save the changes, and now we go back to the front end. That's not the prettiest animation on earth, but you kind of get the idea. Now you can go further and say, hey, can you make it more gentle and more suave, you know, and stuff like that. It actually does interpret that language. So we've achieved 2 goals so far. It's not the best animation yet, but it's more of a demonstration for you. So let's get to the next example here, and I think you guys will like this one. Now, what if we added a nice gradient background that animates and moves around in this top section here? That would look pretty awesome, I think. So what we're going to be doing is showing you how to add this animated background to a Divi section. Now, this can make your sections look really cool and give your website a super unique look and feel. And I've seen this type of animation on sites like Stripe, for example. So let's get into it. Let's go back to ChatGPT, and we'll start a new chat, and we'll say, can you write me some CSS that will add an animated gradient background with 5 colors to a Divi theme section. Let's see what that does. See how quick it goes, man. It's insane to me. I mean, this is going to redefine the way people do write code and stuff like that. It's defining our background gradient there, and then it's going to do the animation. And now it's going to exactly tell you how to add it. So if you add it to the sections class field, it's going to have that background. So let's go ahead and copy this. Let's go here to our layout, of course, and we're probably gonna have to go and let's see how big this section is. Okay, cool. What I would want to do is I'm gonna just delete the background that's there. I don't want any type of weird stuff overriding each other. Oh, actually, and we just first need to put this code into this area in our custom CSS. And then what we do is we just copy this class name. And what's cool about this is now you can use it on any section. You just add that class name. So let's save this. We'll come back here. We're going to go to the Advanced tab, Custom CSS, and ID classes, of course, and then add that gradient class. And fingers crossed, this works on the first try. We had some trouble with that last one, didn't we? There we go. How awesome is that? I'm just, every time it still takes my breath away. It's insane. But how cool is that? So very, very helpful and beautiful, honestly. And now you can go back and you can say, can you make the gradient radial and exclude, that's not how you spell that, exclude green. Oh, let's just scroll down. I mean, you can literally just go and tell it what you want out of it. So it will go and it will tweak and it will tweak again and just generate all these awesome effects. I really, coders would be a little worried about this. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back in here to my theme options and I'm going to replace this CSS. Here we go. Paste that in there. Save the changes and let's see what that did. Yeah, you can see kind of like now it's like a circle going through. I actually quite like this one a lot more, to be honest with you. That's awesome. Very cool. So that's another example. That's 3 mini tutorials down so far. We're going on to the 4th one and things are going to get interesting now. So Lottie animations are pretty popular on the internet because they're lightweight, they're easily customizable, and they look great on any site. So what if we wanted to add Lottie animations to our Divi site? Yeah, we can do that. So let's go back to ChatGPT. I almost forgot what I'm talking about. And we are going to say, please write me some code that will add a Lottie animation to a column in the Divi Builder. And I just need to learn to spell again. I'm typing too fast. And there you go. And there it goes, just thinking and cranking it out. And it says, use a code module. It even tells you what you need to add to the page to do this. So it really blows my mind. And now this is the first time it's actually going to include some JavaScript for you. And it's going to obviously be the Lottie JavaScript. And it's pulling it from Cloudflare. It already knows. The only step we need to do is go ahead and select or download or copy the path of a Lottie animation. So I'm going to let this finish up. Actually, why don't we just go and copy the code? Because all we need to do is go and add it to a code module. So let's go over here, back to the layout for our page. We've got a column here. And if we look on the front end, it's got this big image there. So why don't we go ahead and delete the image and we're going to replace it with the animation. So we're going to say code module is what it wanted us to use. And the cool thing here is you can just literally dump the code right in there. But we need to find the path to our Lottie animation, and that's not that hard to do. There's a website called lottiefiles.com where you can find tons of free Lottie files. How cool is that? You can sign up and or log in, and then we can just maybe put your free. I don't know. I don't feel like paying for anything. They have a lot of free ones. They have a lot of paid ones, of course, also. So let's take a look here. Results for free. And then, oh, okay, of course, it's going to do that. Let's just take this guy. So you can click on that. Now, up here on the right-hand corner, you can go ahead and customize it with a palette. Now, I think you do need to subscribe to do that. So yeah, you need to sign up because like if we go here and I click on Lottie JSON, it just kind of prompts you to kind of sign up. But anyway, it did it before, but I actually clicked out of it. So I'm going to sign up. You can sign up with one of your accounts. Now I'm going to use my Gmail account here, and it doesn't take long. It just pops up, getting started. Yeah, let's go. I'm okay. I'm a designer. Not really. If you've ever watched my videos, you know that I proclaim no skill in design. But let's go. Let's type, what's the topic of this? Software. Yeah, let's type software. Okay, so we've got Coder Dude here, CSS, PHP, whatever. Just click this guy. You can obviously pick anything as long as it does not cost that money. You pick Lottie JSON. I believe you can just copy it. Yeah, here you go. Here's the embed URL. So you can just go ahead and copy that URL. Literally all you need to do. Now, ideally, of course, you want to upload it to your site. But we're just going to come over here to where it says put the path to your Lottie animation. And you're going to paste that in there. Normally it should be the JSON, but you know, we'll troubleshoot this and figure it out. Let's refresh that and we can see that did not work. So there is an issue there with that code. Let's just come back here because I've done this before and I'm pretty sure you just copy the path. Oh, here we go. Oops, I missed it completely. I knew something was wrong. So let's just go back in here, go back down to that path. There we go. Save that, update that, and then fingers crossed, this works perfectly. There we go. How awesome is that? Now, it took a little bit longer to load because, of course, this is hosted on a different site. But come on, guys, that's so cool. I am so stoked on that. So that was our first jQuery one that adds a little bit of JavaScript. Now, the next one is going to be awesome. So let's take a look at that right now. Now, I don't know if you've guys seen this before, but a lot of blogs, like reading heavy sites, will implement a scroll bar. You see it up here. As I scroll, it indicates where you're at in this article, right? You can see how I'm doing that. So why don't we challenge ChatGPT to write that code for us? Let's do that. So let's try again. We are going to go and start a new chat. And just again, guys, here you go. You've got your chat history with all your code and stuff. You can go back and reuse it. It's so cool. Let us think about how we would tell ChatGPT to go ahead and do this for us. So maybe we'll say, write me some code that will display progress bar at the top of the browser window that tracks, I'm gonna have to fix my spelling again, how far down the page the user has scrolled. And let's just fix my dodgy spelling here. There we go. Let's see what it does. And let's hope this works. Okay. So it's got like this function. That's great. Now, I can already kind of suspect we might need to refactor this code a little bit or ask ChatGPT to do it for me. So it says you need to have a div with all that fun stuff. Okay, well, I think we know how we can add a div, right? We can just use our theme builder header to go ahead and do that. Actually, let's tell it, can you give me the script tags? There we go. And now it's doing its thing. Now, again, you know, it's just adding the script tags to what it's got over there. But it's about showing the versatility of all this. So let's copy the code again. Let's go to Divi. Now, this time, this is not going to be where you want to put that. We're going to add it over to integration. And then we can go ahead and add this to the head of our blog and just put the JavaScript. And hopefully that works. I have not tested this, so this is all live and for your enjoyment. So we're going to save that. And then we need to copy some CSS as well. This we can copy and go put in our theme options here under general, custom CSS, and then put that in there. Now what we are going to need to do is, because we're using the theme builder, we're going to have to give it a place for this, right? Let's go into the theme builder. We'll go over here, we'll go to Divi, we'll say theme builder. Now, of course, you're not going to want to have this to be a global thing on your site. You're going to want this to be on your blog. So you're going to have to put this on your blog template, for example. But for this example, we're just going to use the whole thing. So we've got all this fun stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll add another section, put a single column row in there. We'll put a code module in there with nothing in it. We're just gonna, actually, let's scratch the code module. Okay, just needed to move my face there, and I'm gonna delete that out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna give this guy a class of, let's move me back down, not a class, but rather an ID of progress bar. So let's copy that. Let's come back here. Whoops, right over here. And we'll put that ID in there. We just remove that hash or pound, depending on how you look at things. And I'm going to quickly also just go with the design. I'm going to do spacing, padding top and bottom, 0 and 0. And I'm going to do the same for this section, design spacing, because you don't want there to be some weird white space. You just want it kind of like sit underneath your header there, right? So do that. But then also for this one, we want to make it full width because that just looks better. So we're going to go sizing. We're going to put the width to 100% and max width as far as it'll let us go. So let's go ahead and save that. Cross our fingers, go to the front end, and refresh our page. So that didn't do much, did it? Okay guys, so I kind of know what the issue was here. I went ahead and put the code now directly on my header, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And then what I need to do, and what I didn't do, was add a couple of IDs here, which helps it target my bar. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those. And then when I look at the code here, and again, this is why I need to pay attention to what ChatGPT tells you. I can see here that my bar is the class and what is actually going to be painting the bar. So I'm going to go select that. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to add it as my ID there. And then what I also need to do is get another ID here, which is going to be my progress, which of course is going to be the container for that. And ChatGPT told me all that and I just ignored it. So let's go ahead and put that right in there. We'll go advanced, we'll give it the ID, and then of course we'll just make sure that the sizing is right and that is still correct. So let's save it and see what happens now. Okay, all saved up. There we go. Okay, so there's one thing that's not happening, right? It's staying at the top. Well, it's staying at the top and not coming with us. Easy fix, right? We just go to the theme builder and we tell it that we want this module in the advanced settings for the sticky scroll effects. Stick to the top, why don't, yeah. And then save it up, save it one more time. And then let's refresh that really quick. And now you can see we have a fancy progress bar at the top. Now guys, that was super easy-ish, but awesome. You just need to read what ChatGPT tells you. And if your code doesn't work, like I've showed you a few times now, you just go in and you say, hey, that didn't work. This is what the result was. And it'll actually go through and fix it for you. And guys, really, that's going to be it. ChatGPT is a super powerful language model developed by OpenAI that can be used for so many different tasks, including web development. In this tutorial, we went and we've shown you how to use ChatGPT to add a button animation, some menu animations. We add Lottie files as well as an awesome background gradient animation. And then finally, the coup d'etat, this scroll bar that we've got right there, which is amazing. And this is going to help you enhance and streamline your web development flow for any Divi site that you build. So yeah, that's it, man. We really hope that this has been helpful for you and helps you look forward to some creative ways that you can utilize ChatGPT to enhance your Divi sites and just build better websites.
ChatGPT has completely transformed the way that I work and my workflow when I'm working with tutorials or building websites or even customer support. And I have no doubt that you guys out there will find some really interesting ways to utilize ChatGPT in your workflow. Maybe even write you a video script like this one. Guys, this has been Roby with the Divi Engine team. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.